Well, hello, old friend. It's been too long. Good afternoon, you guys, and welcome back to the Prime Vanguard channel. I understand it's been like a million years since I posted my last video, but I am back and I have plenty of new content to show you guys. So I guess before I get into today's deck profile, I'll go ahead and give a little backstory onto where I've been, what I've been doing, what I've been up to, and just talking about how hectic my life has been in general since my last video. Now, my last video was about 8 to 9 months ago. It was on my Magnolia deck profile, I believe all the way back in set 2 from A Brush with Legends, and so much in my life has happened since then. Since I've done that, I have set up my TCG player account, got that fully completed and done. I did my first semester of college. I'm currently on break right now. I'm thinking about going back for my second semester. And then I moved back to Georgia when I was living in Chicago because I didn't have my camera equipment or anything set up for me to do any of my YouTube stuff. So I just wasn't able to film it all. I was in Chicago for college, and that was about 4 months of my time. Those last 5 months when I came back, a lot of things have happened. We've already had BRO since I've been gone. We had just gotten done with now the Bushy Road Spring Fest for the tournament. That was literally like a week ago. And now that we're set on the path for the new set of set 5 of Overdress, which I'll be doing a case opening up on my channel coming up in June 10th, yeah, about 6/10, I believe that's June 10th, so maybe about like 4 to 5 weeks away from the time I'm making this video. That's just been all the crazy stuff that's been happening in my life, literally just school and work, and me just trying to get my money up because I am, obviously I'm an adult now, so I have other responsibilities I have to take care of outside of my Vanguard channel. But my Vanguard channel still exists, my Vanguard Instagram still exists. I'm gonna leave the link to everything of my channel still in my description below. They're also still on my channel page. You can go ahead and check the info section of my channel and see all of my links that are now available for my page. I still have my email available in case you guys wanna send me your deck list or just communicate with me in general. My Instagram is still available, which I'll start posting on again to advertise for this channel. And I am part of the Vanguardians group chat, just another member of that. So if you guys ever want to find me personally on there, I'll go ahead and leave a link to like my personal Facebook, and you guys can, trade or sell with me individually as a person if you guys can't find anything specifically on my TCG player, which I will also be leaving in the link description below. So that's sort of like the quick little recap on where I've been, what I've been doing, and just how my life has been in general. But now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the video we have for today. So I haven't been entirely out of Vanguard. I've been playing online, I've been watching videos. I have been keeping up with VPremium and Overdress. I've seen the premium meta, and it's not that I don't like premium, I just don't have any premium cards to build decks. And I've been playing Vanguard for over 10 years, so I do have all the cards. I'm split between two homes. I'm split between my home back in Illinois and my home down here in Georgia. And that's just where I'm at right now. My Georgia stuff has my Overdress, my VPremium stuff, and my home back in Illinois has all of my premium stuff, you could say. So therefore, that's just why you never see any premium videos on this channel. Plus, premium is extremely complicated. I haven't had enough experience of premium that I feel comfortable enough giving you guys information and knowledge and talking about premium when I haven't played in it at all. So that's not really realistic for me to talk about something I don't know what I'm talking about. But I promise, I truly am done with the recap. We're gonna go ahead and get into today's deck profile, which is going to be focusing on Girlish Idol Lyriquor. Now, I made the video for this deck profile way back somewhere in the archives of my channel very, very long ago. And since then, this deck has come a long way, and my experience as a player has come a long way too. I've been playing Vanguard for over 10 years, and even for as long as I've been playing, you can still learn something. You can still learn new perspectives, more experience, and just more trial and error. I don't have as much time to dedicate to playing as hard as I was before, but I have seen a lot of videos online. I still play online when I can because I finally got a decent setup. As you guys see now, this is that old white room I used to film my videos in. Now I turned into my personal room, and I turned that was also some trial and error. That was about a month and a half of work of just painting, decorating, and getting more equipment to film my videos better like this. That was still just a lot of work of that too, so that's another reason why I've been away. But back to explaining about the deck profile. Girlish Idol Lyriquor has come a long way. It is a super fun budget deck that I feel like has a lot of potential to be really strong. It's got a lot of good generic support. That's because it's a part of Bermuda Triangle, and Bermuda Triangle has always had good generic support. You take advantage of all of the new cards in every single new set that's been coming out from V-Clan Collection 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then not only that, your key pieces and strategy of the game hasn't changed, and it's actually getting better because the generic support surrounding the deck is a lot stronger. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and get right on into this deck profile. Without any further ado, let me showcase to you my take on Girlish Idol Lyriquor for the meta of 2022. All right, you guys, without further ado, let's get started onto the deck profile. For my first grade 3, I'm playing 4 copies of Girlish Idol Lyriquor. Girlish Idol Lyriquor, being the epicenter of this deck, has improved over time thanks to the naturally great support that Bermuda Triangle has gotten from the introduction of previous sets, as well as V-Clan Collection 1 through 4. Now, some of the new cards that have come to this set I'm going to showcase later, but to talk about her main strategy, we have the introduction of the new support cards that will be featured later into the deck profile. But Lyriquor's new game plan now is the old game plan, but a lot more consistent. Her old game plan is using the Lyrical Veil order card, which will be showcased, and using that to board wipe cards and gain power offensively while maintaining the same strategy with your units defensively. Lyriquor as a card, especially now in today's meta, is surprisingly strong. Being able to consistently board wipe for essentially only a counter blast and a soul blast of 2 because of Lyrical Veil's cost is extremely cheap. Everything you do gets a lot of power and puts a lot of pressure on your center Vanguard circle, naturally being her because she's your Vanguard. So your opponent is forced to awkwardly defend as the cards they're placing onto their Guardian circle, if there are a lot of grade 3s, aren't supporting the shield value, but they're supporting her. In my last tip profile of Lyriquor, something I need to clarify and mention is that one thing that I didn't understood was her second effect. It is 10,000 power per every unit that intercepts. That means that if you have 5 units intercepting against her particular attack, she'll get 50,000 power based off the way that she reads. That was my fault last time. I thought this card was really bad because I thought it was just 10,000 power per just intercepting in general. But when I found out after rereading the card and just checking on the Wikia that it was 10,000 per every unit that intercepts, I said to myself, oh my goodness, this card is so much better than I thought. So that's what inspired me to get back into the deck. Moving on to my next grade 2, I played 2 copies of Rose Princess Felina. Rose Princess Felina in my previous deck profile, I believe I was playing this card either at 3 or 4. I've dropped her down now to 2. Felina isn't as much of a consistency piece as she is a recycling piece. Because your Lyriquor strategy is so reliant on Lyrical Veil, you do want to have a way of recycling your Lyrical Veils from the drop zone. In case you don't have access to the rewrite again, you want to make sure that you have a card that you can call onto the board to get those Lyrical Veils and keep your turn going. Because unfortunately, the biggest weakness of the Lyriquor strategy entirely is the fact that it's completely reliant on the Lyrical Veil order card. So you need to be able to make sure you can get the Lyrical Veil from out of your deck as soon as possible, and out of your drop zone as soon as possible. For my next grade 2, I play 4 customized service Maxine. This card is your on-ride, search your deck out for 2 Lyrical Veils. It's a must-have for in this deck. You need to pull Lyrical Veil from your deck out as soon as possible before you go into your Lyriquor turn. For my next grade 2, I play 2 copies of Multiple Shine Murata. This card is just 2 more copies of Maxine. For my next grade 2, I play 3 copies of Choco Loveheart Liselotte. This card has always been just essentially a free +1. It's an early game rush card that gets you either a soul or an extra unit on the board. For my next grade 2, I play 2 copies of Gourmet Beauty Seria. Gourmet Beauty Seria is one of the new cards introduced in the V-Clan collection, and she is just perfect for this deck. This is one of the best support cards I've ever seen in a very long time. If you don't know what this card does, she has the following effect of, whenever placed on the Vanguard or Rearguard circle, you ditch a card from your hand, you check top 3, you add 1 card to your hand and you bottom deck the rest. And depending on what grade your opponent's Vanguard is, she'll either get 5,000 power or 10,000 power. She becomes a really good beat stick. She's on place for Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, and it's not from hand too, which does matter because a lot of the calling you do is from the drop zone and very rarely from your hand. So that means that, again, if this is another card you have in the drop zone because of Lyrical Veil, you can call this card out whenever you want to fix your hand to get rid of the pieces you have. And for my last grade 2, I'm playing 1 copy of Top Idol Aqua. Aqua's purpose in this is the same thing would be for any other Bermuda Triangle deck. You want to call it out to essentially bounce back any of your from on place of hand skills, and then obviously filter out your deck more. As I just explained with Seria, this deck has 5 cards that do brick in the deck once you essentially serve their purpose on the Vanguard Circle. So you do have a lot of discard fodder for a deck, especially one like this, and she can just become one of those targets to start filtering out those cards to get new ones once you've already played through all the brick cards that you have in your hand. Moving on to my grade 1s, I am playing 4 copies of Fresh Star Coral. Now this is an engine I believe I had in my last Lyriquor video, but it's still true and strong to this deck. The Coral engine is actually more important now because I didn't understand the value of it before. I was just looking for a way to increase the soul only for Lyrical Veil. But understanding the value of this card now is the fact that this card, again, will filter out through your hand once you already get, if you have Maxine in your opening hand, and it also helps you get your soul consistently. Lyrical Veil is a Soul Blast 2 that you have to do every single turn in order to get the full benefit of your Lyriquor, so you're going to need a way to consistently soul charge. This card will soul charge when on place, and obviously if a Coral Vanguard, you get extra soul charge, but you mainly want it for the Vanguard bonus of drawing. For my next grade 1, I'm playing 4 copies of Mermaid Idol Sedna. The deck is now only playing 6 grade 3s, not 8 like last time, so you want to be able to make sure you can get there. Plus the 5k boost from this card is extremely helpful as it's an easy condition to meet and you really need the power boost from any card you can get. For my next grade 1, I'm playing 3 copies of Mini Sparkle Parum. Mini Sparkle Parum was a tech card in my last deck profile. I didn't see too many decks that played Lyriquor playing this card, and I never understood why. For those of you guys that don't know what she does, essentially, if you Soul Blast 2 in a turn, she gets 10,000 power, and that's continuous. So this card becomes an 18k beat stick whenever you want it to. So it's better now, and that's why I bumped it up from 2 to 3, because since we have so many ways of seeing Maxine, we always see Maxine in our grade 2 Vanguard Circle now. I've never played a game where I didn't see it. That's why the Murata has saved me sometimes, but most of the time I'm lucky enough to draw into it. But this card is so good for your early game rush because she essentially becomes 18k and she makes a magic number when your opponent's on 8k if you're going first. And then she becomes an 18k booster to any of your units currently in play, and she's a grade 1, so she's a 10k shield. And she becomes a really strong attacker if she's on a force marker. On a force marker, this card becomes 28k on its own, so it naturally gets past any of the 15k shields that your opponent has on their grade 3 turn. So this card basically does everything you need it to when it comes to offensive play. So that's why I've bumped it up to 3 instead of 2, because if I don't have the resources in hand, because unfortunately this deck doesn't build up out of hand, you do a lot of filtering but not a lot of drawing, if that makes sense. This card essentially will just serve the purpose of being the one offensive piece I need in its own column to take care of itself. So I know that whenever I see this card, I know that I'm going to be straight. And for my last grade 1, this is honestly a tech slot, but I'm playing 1 copy of Elegance Carrier Spiana. So I introduced this card into my deck because since I am playing Murata, Lyriquor costs a counterblast, Spiana costs a counterblast, and those 3 cards cast counterblast, and I need to make sure that I can do my rewrites and see my other key grade 3 pieces, and I have cards like Seria that filter out through my deck. I just wanted to try a card for a counter charge because you never know when you might need it, since I am doing a little bit more counterblasting now because I do have Murata who eats up 1 counterblast in case I miss my Maxine ride. Moving on to my triggers, Bermuda Triangle is good with this. I got my 4 crit right here, my other 4 crits right here, my 4 draw PGs right here, and my 4 copies of Vendetta right here. And then finally, the star of the show, the most important card of the deck, I am not joking, is 3 copies of Lyrical Veil. So Lyrical Veil is an order card that has the following effect. It's an on-place order card. You Soul Blast 2, you discard a copy of it from your hand. You get to call back 2 cards from your drop zone to the rearguard circle as long as they're grade 2 or less. And then you choose any number of players' cards, your opponent and yourselves, and all those cards get intercept. So this card, essentially what this does is it sets up for your Lyriquor to board wipe because of her 3rd skill, which will force your opponent to intercept as much as possible. It gives you a 2-card callback from the drop zone so that you can use all of your on-place abilities. And this card makes all your cards on the board intercept, which makes up for the lack of the hand you have in the deck. And this card is easily searchable with all the search cards you have in the deck. And it's a free +1 in any gameplay. You only need 2. I'm only playing the 3rd one now because I dropped it down before, because now that you can search it out a lot easier and I'm seeing it every single game, the 2 are needed. The 3rd one is only needed just in case one would end up in damage zone, because if you play 2 and you have one end up in damage zone, unfortunately you literally like are playing vanilla Vanguard, because Lyriquor can't use her skill, at least her offensive skill, without Lyrical Veil going off. So this is just to make sure that I never miss out on that, because if I see one damage zone, it doesn't bother me because I know I have 2 in deck already and I'm going to get it. All right, you guys, so that concludes my deck profile on Girlish Idol Lyriquor. So I've been playing this deck for a hot minute now, and this is everything that I've come down to from experience, communication, and talking. And it really has come a long way from the previous deck profile that I did with her from my last video. Now you'll notice that a lot of the cards that are in there aren't too many of the new cards, and it's not so much that the deck didn't have everything it didn't need, it was just my understanding of what the deck could do and just more experience as a player and how my strategy and approach to the deck has changed. A lot of the new cards from the sets aren't really in there too much. I mean, we have the new grade 3 Healed Guardian, which is Bernadetta. We have the new grade 2, which is Seria for the search, as you see in the deck profile. And then a lot of the other cards that I've had in there are a lot of older generic support cards, but because of my understanding with the deck and my personal playstyle and how I play the deck and approach situations, I now have a better understanding of what the deck needs, how much I need of something, and what do I prioritize when deck building for this particular strategy. But you guys tell me your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Tell me what deck profiles you guys want to see from me. I'm currently doing Overdress and I'm doing VPremium deck profiles. As far as a set schedule for videos right now, I do know that recording will be something I'm planning on doing. I like to record my videos in bulk, so you guys will see me in like the same shirts or clothes, or that just means I recorded more than 1 video in a day just to get something set up for you guys later, so you guys aren't waiting weeks and months, hopefully again, for videos. So therefore, just be on the lookout for that. Without further ado, you guys, I wish all of you a great day, and I will see you later. Peace.